We have Pledge of Allegiance led by Magistrate Murphy.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes, I didn't hear him say it.
You have a copy of the minutes in your packet of August the 16th and August the 25th, which have been reviewed for correctness. And do I have a motion to approve? Motion by Magistrate Johnson. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dotson. Magistrate Harris.
Yes. Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Sometimes, when magistrates, myself, we go to state conferences, we don't learn a whole lot. Sometimes we do. We learn more talking with, usually of talking with the other officials in the state of what's going on in the other counties. But during the last one that we went to, the governor's conference, had an opportunity to talk with several of the judges from around the state in regard to their census and what they had done on reapportionment. And I was talking to the county attorney this morning, Mr. Case, in regard to it, and I did make a call to Mr. Ornstein, whom the county attorney's office and I both can consult with continuously about things in the county, and I want to report to you that the reapportionment does not go in effect until the next elected term of the public officials in Kentucky. In other words, we continue what we're doing this term. Now, the next election comes up when the magistrate falls, he will run in the new district, but and so forth. But we don't have to worry the next three years. It's the next term. So that update I wanted to bring to you, and as you all know, as we talk to people.
I know that, and I tried to explain to some of these others here, and they said, no, we got to change them. I said, no, I was here once before.
Well, you know.
I was here, and that's what happened. We had to wait to keep on working this district.
We just keep on, just like we're doing now, till the next election comes up.
I got elected for that district.
So we continue what we're doing to the end of this term.
And to the end of this term.
Judge, the only thing that I would add to that is magisterial districts do not have to mimic the road lots. And if the magistrates decided, for example, if Jeff and Chick between themselves decided that, for example, that road lot number 1 would start taking care of Allen Creek, that would be legal.
Good.
And for example,
that was raised the last court meeting.
If he wanted to start servicing Rattlers Creek, he could. That would not be required. The information you provided is absolutely correct, but there is no requirement that the road lots mimic the magisterial districts.
Correct.
You can start tomorrow, G, if you want to.
Okay, I'll relay the message.
Okay.
Next, Mr. County
Kenneth,
Attorney,
same goes for Kenneth now,
Beth,
right?
that be on the agenda this time on the wastewater treatment permits and operation.
Judge, this is an ongoing problem which we have had. I'll try to summarize it as briefly as I can. For some years now, we've had 5 wastewater treatment plants and have been paying Mountain Water, and I'm going to round the figures off, about $3,200 a month to service those 5 wastewater treatment plants. We received a letter, and I'd say it's been 6 or 8 months ago, that they were going to raise their rate. It was either to $3,800 or $3,900. Additionally, a related issue is over at the Johns Creek Daycare. They need a new wastewater treatment plant, and I have heard cost anywhere from $9,000 to $60,000 to replace it. we are only receiving $400 a month rent from that facility, and we've been paying $600 a month to have the wastewater treatment plant serviced. So there is some question about whether or not we need to hook one of our garages up to that same wastewater treatment plant. But the reason I wanted this on the agenda tonight is we're going to have to do something about the wastewater treatment plant over at the Johns Creek Daycare, either shut that building down or make some kind of arrangements to put in a new system. And basically, Mountain Water is saying they want to put the wastewater treatment plants back in our name. It's my understanding we're trying to get someone qualified to service those, and hopefully he will become qualified. If not, then we probably are going to need to contract with, the most obvious choice would be the contract with UMG to service those wastewater treatment plants. But it's just issues that I think the court needs to be aware of. I don't know whether they want to address them tonight or not, but they've been on the horizon for some time, and we're going to have to make decisions at some point on this issue.
I think the first letter we received was in October of last year from the attorney for the water district, and we have held probably 3 meetings since that time discussing this. We have discovered one of our county employees told the inspector from the health department, according to what the health department inspector told me, said they had the same problem over at the county garage that they had over on this point. So they didn't cite us, but the inspector came and told me that we needed to do something in regard to the plaint at the county garage. So the cost that the county attorney gave is, I think the figure ended up at $47,000. I don't know exactly where that figure come from because Jeannie is off sick today. So when she gets back, I will have her get the file on that. And we know that there are money left in this year's account. The original contract that they're under now was 10 plaints. That's now down to 5 plaints. So, and one of those plaints, of course, is the one. Marley Coleman goes to school, or takes a test. He's been, we'll say, in class for some time. He is a Class 1 operator presently, am I correct? Class 1 operator?
Yes, for septic systems.
Presently, and now he has become a Class 2. So hopefully he will get qualified, and these plaints will be turned over to him, and then we'll take that money and put it with others. And Rhonda James is on vacation, so, and the treasurer's not here presently, so they are aware of this and attended the meeting, the last one, the judge's office recently, and we looked at the money situation, and we, and I say we will come back with a recommendation at the next court meeting of what action the court needs to take in regard to this. The county attorney is right. You all need to be made aware of it. But we'll come back with a recommendation and tell you what we have to do. After my conversations with the health department, we have 2 problems over there. One, the county attorney brought to your attention. One at the county garage that we're going to have to serve. We're going to have to we're going to have to do that so the county won't get cited by the state. The water district has assured us that they will still service these until we get this problem resolved, and within the next 30 days.
Actually, Judge, the agreement was they were ready to cut us off, and I talked with Mr. Stratton, who represents Mountain Water, and he has agreed, in light of Mr. Marley Coleman's efforts to get certified, to withhold any action, or Mountain Water has agreed to withhold any action until the end of October. And the reason is the certification testing for Mr. Coleman comes sometime in mid-October, so we'll know where we stand there by the end of October.
Any questions in regard to
Yeah.
that?
I'm trying to recall, I know we had this discussion several months ago, and I'm trying to remember exactly how it ended. I thought we were of a mind maybe to discontinue the Johns Creek Daycare Center, but we were worried that there may be a lease in place, and somebody was going to look to see what the terms of that lease were to see if it was cancelable or voidable or expired or where we are on that
I
on that
don't
lease.
remember the exact terms of the lease, but I did look at it, and it's a very old lease that's been rolling over for terms and terms. It's still got the same lease payment as back in whenever it was first done, whatever year that was. I think, I don't want, whatever year it was done.
Mr. County
but-
Attorney and to Magistrate Harris, the leasee has been, they met with her and advised her of this situation and told the leasee that they would get back to her when the county made a decision on what to do. But she has been advised.
Okay, we definitely need to give her some, or whoever it is, I don't really know who the
They
leasee is.
put her on notice that the court was going to take some type
Because
of
at
action.
$3,800 a month, if that's what we're paying Mountain Water to maintain our septic treatment plants, and we can get somebody certified to do that, I mean, that's $45,000 a year.
Correct.
We're paying Mountain Water to do something that we could easily be doing in-house, so it does make sense to get Marley certified and get him managing those treatment facilities throughout the county.
Any other questions? We'll come back with the next court meeting with a recommendation for you. Mr. County Attorney.
Judge, this will be a first reading of an ordinance of the Pike County Fiscal Court of Pike County, Kentucky, to reflect to amend Section 190 to reflect the composition of the Pike County Tourism Commission and Convention Bureau. Judge, I'm sorry, I've caught a typographical mistake in the heading. It should read an ordinance of the Pike County Fiscal Court of Pike County, Kentucky to amend. We need to put the words to amend in there.
To amend.
Okay, Section 190 to reflect
Madam
the
Clerk, note the
composition of the Pike
correction.
County Tourism Commission and Convention Bureau. Whereas the county judge executive can propose amendments to the administrative code at any time, and whereas the city of Pikeville has withdrawn from the Joint Tourism Commission, and whereas the fiscal court and the Pike County judge executive desire to amend the administrative code to reflect the statutory composition of the Pike County Tourism Commission and Convention Bureau, now therefore it be ordained by the fiscal court of the county of Pike, Commonwealth of Kentucky, that Section 190 regarding the Pikeville/Pike County Tourism Commission be amended to read Section 190, Pike County Tourism Commission and Convention Bureau. The commission shall promote recreational, convention, and tourism activity in Pike County. The board is composed of 7 members to be appointed by the Pike County Judge Executive in the following manner. 3 selected from a list of 6 or more names submitted by the local Hotel and Motel Association, and if no such hotel and motel association exists, then 3 commissioners shall be appointed by the Pike County Judge Executive from persons residing within the jurisdiction of the commission and representing local hotels or motels. 1 commissioner shall be appointed from a list of 3 or more names submitted by the local restaurant association, and if no formal local restaurant association exists, then 1 commissioner shall be appointed by the Pike County Judge Executive of a person residing within the jurisdiction of the commission and representing a local restaurant. 1 from a list of 3 submitted by the Pike County Chamber of Commerce. 2 appointments by the Pike County Judge Executive. The terms of office are for 3 years, and members shall serve until their successors are duly appointed. The respective terms shall end on the following dates, and succeeding terms shall end in 3-year increments from these dates, regardless of the effective date of the appointment. Now, I would like to explain a little bit. Basically, the composition of the commission is set by statute, and this is almost word for word from the statute. The reason the terms were started back in 1989, that was when the commission was originally formed, and that way the current members of the commission will serve out the rest of their terms, at which time they will be either reappointed or new members appointed pursuant to this section. The applicable statute, if anyone wants to look at it, is KRS 91, capital A, .360. If any of the magistrates have, or judge has any questions, I'll be glad to attempt to answer them.
This board, it's appointed by the judge executive. Is it to be approved by the members of the fiscal court?
I think so, because I think it would be governed by the general statute requiring that judge executive appointments be approved by fiscal court. It would come under the general statute. And I did check with both for second and third opinions from the Department of Local Government Attorney Andrew Hartley, and also with Rich Ornstein of CAECO, and we all three agreed that the general statute requiring fiscal court approval would apply to this general statute, and that also would be consistent with a case that came out of Jefferson County several years ago.
Any other questions? If not, do I have a motion to amend?
We have to publish it, don't we?
Yeah, this is first reading of an ordinance, Judge. We have to
That-
publish it and then vote on it next.
Vote on it next time. Okay. Madam Clerk, please note. (911), of course, will be here, and it's the 10th anniversary of the tragedy that the terrorists caused on this country in New York. And I'm going to ask Judge Hayes to read a resolution that concurs with the United States government in Washington for a moment of remembrance resolution by Pike County government and the Pike County Fiscal Court on the 10th anniversary. Of course, it's September the 11th. And Judge Hayes, if you would read that and read the names on it, please.
Moment of Remembrance Resolution, Pike County Government, Pike County Fiscal Court, September 6, 2011. Whereas Pike County Government joins the National Moment of Remembrance of the 10th anniversary of September 11, and whereas Pike County Government hereby expresses its support of the United States government regarding coming together as a country, and whereas said local government shall cease all work or any activity for a moment of remembrance at 1 p.m. on September 11, 2011, and whereas the President of the United States designated September 11, 2011 as a National Day of Service and Remembrance, and whereas Pike County Government recognizes the above day, now therefore be it resolved that Pike County Government joins all to offer its deepest and most sincere condolences to the families, friends, and loved ones who lost their lives on September 11, 2001. Be it further resolved that Pike County Government honors the heroic service, action, and the sacrifices of first responders, firemen, and emergency personnel, law enforcement personnel, volunteers, and all who aided the victims, and in doing so bravely risked their lives, and many gave all. Be it further resolved that Pike County Government encourages the observance of this moment of remembrance to last for 1 minute at 1 p.m. to the maximum extent by ceasing all activity, and the Sheriff of Pike County shall direct all his personnel to sound their sirens for 1 minute on September 11, 2011, the 10th anniversary. Be it further resolved, this date shall show that this day will never be just another day, and reaffirms that all Pike Countyans join all who gave their lives and those who supported them, that all support the cause of freedom, and our government will work tirelessly to defeat those who attacked America and tried to take away our quality of life and freedom. That is to be executed by the Pike County Judge Executive, the Pike County Deputy Judge Executive, Pike County Attorney, Pike County Sheriff Jeff Anderson, District 1 Magistrate Vernon Chick Johnson, District 2 Magistrate Leo Murphy, District 3 Magistrate Kenneth Robinson, District 4 Magistrate Hillman Dotson, District 5 Magistrate Chris Harris, District 6 Magistrate.
To have a motion on the resolution. Have a motion, Magistrate Murphy. Have a second, Magistrate Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson. Mr. Murphy. Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dodson. Mr. Harris. Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Mr. Stacy, do you have any bids?
Judge, I have one bid to present to the fiscal court. It's bid number 37 for 2011, repaving and drainage at the Belfry Courthouse parking lot. We received one bid from Mountain Enterprise Incorporated of Lexington. Total bid price, $125,585. No exceptions to the bid. My recommendation would be to award this bid to Mountain Enterprise with the lowest evaluated bid price of $125,585.
Magistrate Harris.
Judge, that's, as everybody knows, it's a project I've been working on for many years, trying to line the funding to get it done. I'm glad to make the motion that we award the bid and ask that the funding be taken out of the magistrate's road account.
We have a motion, Magistrate Harris, have a second? Second. Have a second for Magistrate Anderson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy. Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dodson.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Magistrate's road work.
Motion.
Motion, Magistrate Anderson, have a second. Have a second, Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy. Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dodson.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Well, we was worried about flooding last night. At about dark last night, I got up and drove up where I could see the river and look see if the water was coming off the mountain. And there wasn't any, so I knew we wasn't going to have a flood based on my experience of past floods. But met with Charles this morning. Doug is in a conference, and we got quite a bit of rain. We was blessed that the ground was not saturated like it is in the Northeast. And matter of fact, we got 4.2 inches of rain at Feds Creek in the last 24 hours. We got 6.1 inches in Pikeville area at the state police headquarters and our gauge. So we was blessed not to have another flood, which we didn't need. We're just now getting hatched some of the work completed from the last flood. We're just now, I know that I got a call and they was in Powell's Creek finishing up there. So, you got more, yeah.
I've been nervous since Sunday evening.
As a matter of fact, we came back after we looked at the tropical storm Lee. We came on back into the county on Friday night because we didn't know what was going to happen after we looked at the weather station and saw that Lee was going to come through the Appalachian Mountains.
Had 2 trees down blocking the road.
So magistrate's comment, Magistrate Anderson.
Judge, I don't have anything.
Magistrate Johnson.
I don't have any.
Magistrate Dodson.
Judge, I've got a few there. We had a call from a lady down at Buskirk, which you're familiar with, Hesse Charles. You know Hesse for a long time. Lives out the park there where we took the equipment out. Probably back in the spring. It was real dangerous, and we went in and removed all the equipment. And now the weeds are grown up, and she's wanting to know if the county's going to put it on the list to be mowed. And there were some questions me and John Doug talked about before the meeting. And I guess Damus just needs a clarification on whether or not it's going to be added to his list or who's going to take care of it.
That'll be added to the list so they can get it in the next few days.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And some of the seniors have asked to get some materials to build a couple sheds over at the Kemper Center there, and I think we have money in the park account, don't we, John, to build a couple small sheds about 12 by 12. Over at Kemper at the Senior Citizen Center there.
No, Senior Citizen Center's out of money.
Do I, honey?
Senior Citizen Center doesn't have any money.
I mean, in our park account, do we have?
Talking about the park account, he's wanting to, would you
The one
review?
that you had 5,000 in?
Whatever, you know, if we, it wouldn't be that much, to get it. It just a couple 12 or 12
How much
buildings.
would it cost Amos?
Dames, what they're wanting is, have you seen the list? Have you seen the list on the materials they was wanting?
No, I haven't seen it.
They brought it over and gave it to me, and I'll pass it over to you. And I told them that I thought we had money in the Park and Recreations account to
Check and see if there's money in that account, and we need to make sure that the Board of Education concurs on their, have you talked to them yet, Hill?
No, I've not talked to them, but this is probably more or less out back in it, Carl, where the seniors gather up.
Carl, you handle that and let us know, let the office know, and let Magistrate Dotson know also.
It's on the property, ain't it, Carl, that we have under lease. What they're wanting, Judge, is to build a couple sheds for the horseshoe pitches. They have a tendency of having to go out and clean their horseshoe pits out every time it rains. They want to put a top on it, like they got over Freedom, where they can play their horseshoes. And later on, they was wanting to try to get a building, a shed built.
They've charged $155.94 through September, through July on you.
I told them I'd bring it up in front of the court.
Everything else charged
We'll
to it.
see if
You'll get that information for us and get to let Magistrate Dotson know also.
Yes, sir, I'll get it.
John, that monies that we have in our park and recreation that we've been spending on the swimming pools and things, can we not spend that on that?
Probably, but let me make sure. So I don't want to say, make sure the guidelines, I think it can be because you've got money there in that Pike County recreational money.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
But either or other, you know,
I think you can use it since it will be on it's going to be at the Senior Citizen Center, right?
Well, actually, it's Kemper Community Center. It's utilized by the senior centers 3 days a week, Tuesday through Thursday, so it's actually a community center.
I think it'll qualify, but let me run it by Rhonda to make sure, and then we can charge it there and let Damus know tomorrow.
Judge, that's about all I have. I heard that you had let some of the employees go up and relieve some of the people out that's having problems up north, and I appreciate this court doing that, because say they in bad need up there for help.
Yeah, they got
That's all
problems.
I have.
Magistrate Hart.
Judge, at the last court meeting, we asked about the status of our open records request with the Attorney General's office, and I read in the newspaper, I didn't get it directly, but I read that they had said it was going to be 2 weeks, and I know it's been more than 2 weeks since then. I was just wondering if we have any, what the status of that is now.
Mr. County Attorney.
Judge, I furnished to the clerk a copy of a letter which I received from counsel for UMG. Just as background to this letter, I had a call on Friday, which I think was September the 2nd, and with a message to call Mr. True, counsel for UMG, and I was thinking maybe he had received a decision, was wanting to discuss it, but when I called him, he said no, his client had called him and they were wanting to try to resolve this matter, and he outlined a proposal, and rather than me trying to remember or write down his proposal, I said, you need to email me that and write me a letter so I can present it to the court. And he did so, and a copy of the letter is in the magistrate's package. Basically, his proposal on behalf of his client, UMG, is, and I'll read you the relevant section of the letter, in order to resolve this matter, UMG is willing to provide to the fiscal court a detailed income statement for the period ending December 31st, 2010. The income statement provides a breakdown of revenue and expenses. Included within the expenses is a detailed breakdown of payroll and administrative expenses, direct operation expenses, corporate and other expenses, and repair and maintenance expenses. The income statement also provides information concerning the net income or loss of UMG during the time frame. In order to resolve this pending open records appeal, my client would be willing to provide this income statement to the fiscal court. In return, we would require that the fiscal court withdraw its appeal with the Office of Attorney General and request that the Office of the Attorney not issue any opinion concerning this matter. I guess from my standpoint, and I think I've been consistent in this, I have always thought that based on the wording of the statute, that the open records statute did apply to UMG based on the 25% requirement. But it has also been my opinion that there's probably at least a 50-50 chance that the statute will be declared unconstitutional for vagueness and broadness. There's been two decisions come out of Jefferson Circuit Courts, and one decided unconstitutional and one decided constitutional. So there's a split among the circuit courts even in Jefferson County. So having said that, the county attorney's office would take no position on this matter. We are here to serve the court, and we'll do the court's bidding on what they want to do on this matter. I also would point out that even if the court agreed to this, that would still not preclude the media from making such a request to UMG, or for that matter, any citizen, because there is an Attorney General's opinion saying that all members of the public have equal standing under the Open Records Act to make requests. So I have received the offer from counsel for UMG, as is my ethical duty as an attorney. I've passed an offer of settlement on to my client, the fiscal court, and I will await the feeling of the court as to what they want me to do as their counsel.
Well, I'd like to comment on it first. I'm glad to get this letter from Guthrie True. He's a well-respected attorney and a good attorney. And I guess Senator Jones is no longer representing UMG. But I just want to say this. Kentucky is watching what happens in this open records request. Not only is counties across Kentucky watching what happens, but accountability and transparency organizations across the state are watching what happens. I think we're right. I think we've been right from the beginning. I think UMG knows we're right, and if there's nothing to hide, then there should be no problem with transparency. This suggested settlement does not solve our problem. It leaves us with 1 year of records that we don't even know really what they say, and it doesn't provide us with any vehicle by which to get records down the road. And I think clearly that we as a court and the public and the Mountain Water District Board, that we're expected to gauge value on what we're getting. And how can we be expected to gauge value or accountability if the service that we're receiving, if we're all kept in the dark? Excuse me, and refused access to this information. Transparency should have been required in the contract that Mountain Water signed with UMG from the very beginning, and I think that nobody on this court should consider anything less than a Attorney General's opinion stating otherwise as a reason to stop our fight to get this information. So I encourage the court to vote against settling this matter and giving up on our fight to get this information. I think that the Attorney General's opinion, when it's issued, and it's supposed to have already been issued, I think that it will be favorable towards us, and I think that it will set a precedent for transparency and accountability for companies like UMG throughout the state, and it will be used well into the future, long after we're all gone from this court.
Mr. County Attorney, I understand you to say that any citizen or newspaper could ask for an opinion if this court chose not to go that route?
Yeah, Judge, an open record request, any private citizen has the same standing as you or the fiscal court or a fiscal court member or the media to make an open records request. I mean, we get them almost on a daily basis to this court.
And I understand there was 2 audits, one by the Public Service Commission, one by the state auditor on this.
Yeah, but the state auditor's report did attempt to get the information which the fiscal court has asked for, and she specifically mentioned, I don't remember their exact language, but she mentioned the open records request in her audit.
Yeah, if we settle now, we'll never know what our rights actually are. You know, we need our rights defined. Here's what we're entitled to. Here's what we're not entitled to. And if we're not entitled to it, I can accept the Attorney General's opinion or the court's opinion, whatever the final judge of that is. But we need to know exactly what our rights are, and the state needs to know what their rights are with regard to these type situations. And we're in the perfect place now to get that. We are a couple days away, I hope a couple days away, from a decision from the Attorney General's office that will decide these things. It's not going to cost us a penny more. It's not going to be any, and they may come back and say, hey, we're not entitled to that information. And if that's what they say, that's what they say. I certainly don't see how they could, but that's possible. So we need something to give us a guide to go by. We need to stand up and say, we need some answers, and that's the only way we can get them.
I understand, Mr. Harris, I don't know what the court, how they will vote, but you have a right as an individual to ask for that information. I understand from what the county attorney said. What's the pleasure of the court? I have a motion to get it on the floor. Is there a motion? If no motion, then pass it and move on.
Judge, that's leaving me in the dark on whether to accept an offer or not. I'm going to have to ask that the court either vote to accept the offer or reject it, or I'm going to be left in the position of flipping a coin to decide.
I'll make a motion we reject the offer.
Second.
Have a roll call vote?
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Yes. Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dotson? Yes. Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
No. Madam Treasurer.
Authorize any necessary transfers and interfund transfers to pay the bills, payroll, health, and life insurance.
Do I have a motion? Have a motion, have a second, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dotson? Yes. Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yeah.
Acknowledge receipt of previous transfers and interfund transfers for July 5th and July 19th. It'll be next court meeting before I get to the August 2nd to have all that finalized.
Have a motion, have a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Robinson, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dotson? Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Acknowledge receipt of the Treasurer's July 2011 financial statement.
Have a motion? Have a motion, Mr. Robinson, have a second, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dotson? Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
This year we have entered into an agreement with U.S. Admin, who takes care of our COBRA benefits for employees when they leave to keep us from being in any hot water if we neglected to offer them to some employer. They said they didn't get them. But in order for this to work, U.S. Admin collects the money from the employees and then sends it to us. Should have a check here by the 10th of each month. So I need authorization to set up a line item and make this a recurring expense to pay for the health and dental or whatever else they elect as a COBRA election for employees who have terminated employment until the funds are received. It'll be a wash because we'll get the exact money that we pay so as we're not behind and delinquent on our bills.
I'll make the motion. Second by Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson? Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Authorize payment to Box Lake Networks in the amount of $10,254.69 for the 2011 tax bill postage, which comes out of the sheriff's supplement, and there may be an additional bill. They're basing this on last year's postage, so there may be a supplemental amount that will have to be paid later on once we actually know what the tax bill postage is.
Have a motion?
Motion.
Have a
Second.
motion. Magistrate Johnson, have a second. Magistrate Robinson, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson? Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
The same thing, I received this, and I think they're all trying to expedite their tax bills being processed, so authorization to pay Box Lake Networks in the amount of $9,078.25 for the 2011 tax bill printing, which will come out of the clerk's supplement.
Have a motion, Magistrate Robinson. Have a second. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson? Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson? Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Authorize we pass through monies when received to the Hatfield Volunteer Fire Department in the amount of $50,000. It's coal severance money.
Magistrate Harris. Hatfield.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion, Magistrate Harris. Have a second. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson? Mr. Johnson? Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson? Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Authorized to go ahead and pass through this money from coal severance funds. We've already received it. The Belfry Volunteer Fire Department, $1,923.08. Grapevine Volunteer Fire Department, $1,923.08. Coal Run Volunteer Fire Department, $1,919.61. Farrells Creek Volunteer Fire Department, $1,923.08. Blackberry Volunteer Fire Department, $1,923.08. Phelps Volunteer Fire Department, $1,923.08. Authorized to go ahead and pass that through to them.
Need a motion? Motion, Magistrate Murphy. Have a second, Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson? Mr. Johnson? Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson? Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
And having mentioned about the Box Lake Networks, with the tax bills, it's that time to set our tax rates. And if the fiscal court set the rates last year at 12.4 cents per hundred assessed value on real property, 13.0 cents per hundred assessed value on personal property, 14.0 cents per hundred assessed value on motor vehicles and watercraft, plus a 2 cent per acre for fire protection. Is it the court's desire to set the rates the same as last
Madam
year?
Treasurer, I make the motion that we take last year's rates, same as we did last year.
We'll post it.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Magistrate Harris, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson? Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson? Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
I have no further business, Judge.
Judge Hayes, we need to go into executive session for personnel.
Judge, I've just passed out a statement of personnel matters to each of the magistrates. There's nothing of any controversy or nothing that, at least in my opinion, needs to be discussed in an executive session. They're all pretty much cut and dry. A couple of the magistrates had some concerns that they want to raise, but they'll do that in an executive session at the next court meeting concerning some specific personnel matters. But insofar as I'm concerned, unless any of the magistrates see anything on this list that they want to, that they feel like they need to talk about in executive session, we can just do that. We can just do this right here and save a lot of time.
Any questions? No questions? Judge Hayes, proceed.
The first matter, Judge, is the Packer truck driver, solid waste area number 1 at Johns Creek, a 3H position. That had been posted and the bidding had closed a number of weeks ago. You see on that handout that the full-time employee, the only full-time employee who bid, who would otherwise be awarded the job, we've asked that that be passed. We passed it at the last meeting. There are some matters that we're discussing, and Mr. Williamson, the full-time employee who would be awarded the job, has expressed to me orally that he wants to withdraw his bid. And we're going to, I've talked to Mr. Lyons about that, Commissioner Lyons, and we're going to get a notice in writing to put in the personnel file that he does in fact want to do that, and that will, discussing that with Mr. Case, then that probably needs to be reposted and rebid. The next matter, Judge, is to acknowledge the resignation of a longtime employee of the Pike Fiscal Court, Connie Caines, who was resigning from the Solid Waste Department effective August 31st, 2011. And she is a 29-year employee who began work on November the 10th, 1982, and a fine employee she was. Commissioner Lyons is saying that she was an exceptional employee. I saw her today and told her we'd missed her. Certainly, and that's a position, by the way, which we're getting by and not filling. That's a 4A position, and so by not filling that, we have saved that much money in the budget. Next matter is to acknowledge the resignation of another long-term employee, Daniel Dameron. That would be effective September 1, 2011. He's worked for the court since March the 1st, 1999. Next, we need approval to hire Nathan Allen Stamper as a temporary replacement loader for solid waste area number 2 at a 2H pay rate effective August 30, 2011. He's replacing Stephen Newsom, who is replacing Chad Green. That's just the domino effect of people being off for injuries and so forth. That is a temporary position. And by the way, he lives in District 1, I believe. Approval to hire Laurette Hurley as a part-time replacement cook at Phelps Intergenerational Center at a 2H pay rate effective August 31st, 2011, and she will be replacing Mary Lou Lyons, who holds that job, and Mary Lou is off on sick leave at the present time and will be for a number of weeks. Next, we need approval to terminate Roger Davis III from Public Works Department for job abandonment effective August 22nd, 2011. Mr. Davis worked well and worked consistently up until that date, and then he disappeared. We hadn't heard from him again. Next, we need approval to hire Jordan Smith as a temporary mini packer driver for solid waste area number 1 at a 3H rate of pay effective September 2nd, 2011, and he is replacing James Pinson, who is presently off work on workers' compensation, work-related injury. Finally, Judge, another resignation. We just got this one. We need to acknowledge the resignation of James Pinson, effective September 6, 2011. He has worked for us since February 17, 2009. We are awaiting his written resignation to confirm what he has informed us orally. So that's all the personnel matters. That's the personnel's recommendation to you, Judge.
Before I make the motion and acknowledge it's my recommendation motion, I want to talk about Connie Kane. And You know, county has employees, and I know Mr. Lyons feels this way too, but Connie Caines was the most dedicated employee that I know of that worked for this county for all the years that she worked. She was dedicated to that position. She worried about the employees. She was in my office time and time again. She's a caring person, had a caring heart. Nobody showed up in her office in there to talk about a bill that they owed or was behind, that she was always cordial to them. I could never, ever come to my office and to send somebody over there to Connie Caines that Connie didn't listen to them and try to understand what their situation was and be as helpful as she could be within the constraints of how she had to operate in her position. So it's we see employees. We got some 260 some employees today come and go, but Connie Caines is one that I know the solid waste department, and I know that this physical court has members because I know what they thought about Connie Caines too, and I know of what Connie meant to you, Commissioner Lyons, and it's a big job in this county of 1,200 miles of road, geographically challenging to pick people's garbage up in this county, up and down the creeks and hollers and on the mountain roads and the narrow roads. And just to say, Connie Caines, a job well done, and that's what I told her the day that we had the little reception for before she left. But Mike, I know how you feel. You hate to see her go. I know that, and I know these magistrates because of the relationship they had with Connie over all the years, and I know Chick and we've been here in and out in Hillman all these years, and it's she's just one that was a special county employee.
Making us all get old, is all I know. We start retiring after 29 years.
So it's my recommendation and my motion that we approve the as presented by Deputy Judge Hayes. Have a second? Have a second by Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson? Yes. Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Ruth?
Yes. Does any magistrate have any question or statement
Yeah,
that
I
they
got
want to
one,
make?
Judge. If we wouldn't make it too inconvenient for Rose, are there any way we can get these things a day or two before the court meeting? Because all this is coming up so fast.
What is available, we can sure do that, can't we, Rose?
Yep.
What they don't bring in the last day, as
Same day.
people tend to do sometime, and the treasurer works right up to the time. That's the problem. But we'll do our best to get you what we've got.
Okay.
And we can fax that to your office so you'll have it.
Actually, like if the court meeting's on a Tuesday, we should have it in our office by Friday evening.
Yeah, I know.
We used to have it that way back years ago.
Yeah.
You
But
can-
what we get,
you
we
can
can
have
get
the
it.
minutes,
What we
but the
have,
other stuff they
we
don't
can
bring
certainly
in till
make
the
it
last
available to
minute.
you.
So just get on to them, start bringing it in so we can get it on Friday evening.
I don't have any authority.
Rose
What
will
do
be
you
glad
need for them to
to
bring
do
in?
that.
They can't always get it. I mean, like, sometimes our bid awards are not even known until that morning of the court, you know.
But what we can and what we have in our hands.
He
we'll
said a lot of
pass
times the
right on to
bids
you.
wasn't known to the day they have a court meeting. Is that right?
Until, yeah.
Well, we can take them on Monday then. I mean, I just like to look at everything, you know, before you come down here, you know. That'd be the best thing, man. I'd like to have
Well,
it,
you
I'd
do
like to have
that.
my book to me on
Let's
Friday.
see if that'll work, and be glad. I agree, they need every bit of the information they can get before a meeting.
I'll just mail what I have.
She can get to you what she's got.
Okay.
Okay? Hellman, go right ahead.
Judge, I got a letter from the contractor that met with several of us on that swimming pool over at Freeburn. And Davis, did you get the letter from the brown lady from Frankfurt over asking what we need to do and things to get the pool reopened?
Yeah, a Atlanta faxed me that list. There's quite a bit on it, but
Talking to the contractor, do you think that's what he's agreeing to on his bid?
I've tried to get in touch with him 2 or 3 times, and I haven't been able to get him to call me back.
John Doug and Roland is recommended if we can get him to agree to what she has asked, to go ahead and get a contract with him and get him to do the work. And the day we met with him, that day you was over there, he said it would take about 2 to 3 months to get it
Yeah, at least.
installed and get it working.
Yeah.
So that might put us in there before the freeze to get some water in that pool and get it going. But do I need to?
The only question
Make a
I have
motion.
is, we've got to have a engineer to present? and to-
I think he has got an engineer from drawing up the paperwork, don't he, Damus?
He said he did.
What does
Yeah.
that say there in that?
That's the way I understood him.
Yeah, that's what he told
He
me.
would send a draft to this
I'm not
lady.
talking about them, don't we have to have an engineer to submit to Frankfurt?
As long as he
for
submits the
approval?
plans, yeah, as long as he submits his plans to Frankfurt for approval, it'll be all right.
That's
Let-
not the question. The
let-
question, do we have to have an engineer to
Let
submit?
me answer the question, Judge.
Go right ahead.
According to Jan Brown, who's the program administrator who wrote this letter of what the state's going to require on that pool, it says, I'll just quote from the letter, submit plans for approval before any work is performed. Plans and specifications on public swimming and bathing facilities constructed by the state or political subdivision shall be prepared by an engineer or architect registered in the state of Kentucky. And it therefore appears that if the contractor has such an engineer or architect on call or on
John,
the
what he
payroll,
told me
whatever
and
you do.
Damus that day was his engineer firm would draw up the plans and send to Jan Brown for approval.
Okay.
And then once she approves it, then he could come back in and do the work.
Start any work till they're approved.
And we could do the contract accordingly.
That being a satisfactory answer, then any other questions?
That's all I have, Judge. I just want to,
Congratulations,
if I need to make a motion to get this thing going, or is Damus, the,
Yeah, he's already removed the old pump and all that plumbing for that, and the old filters. He's already done that. Yeah.
As far as putting back in, you better not put anything back in.
Exactly.
You ran into that one time
Right.
already.
Heard you.
Roland, I guess he works with Jan Brown a lot on the pools where he talked, and him and her has already met and talked, and she's told him what to do, and
Okay.
he said it would be in the engineer's hands to get that done.
Any other questions?
Just briefly on these pools again, Judge and Damus, we had an extended period now that the pools are not open. Hopefully, if things go well, we'll get them open again next year. If there's anything we need to do as far as winterizing them, we need to make sure everything's done right this fall, because starting them up in the spring is going to be a challenge because we've had a year off. So I guess we just need to make extra sure that at Virgie and at Hardy and Freeburn that those pools are gone over very well, and make sure we've cover all our bases there.
We had a meeting last month, and Judge Hayes and Mr. Ramey, they proceeded to check the other two pools to make sure what had to be done. Has that been done?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part of that.
We had a meeting about a month and a half ago, and Judge Hayes was handling it with you to make sure that as Magistrate Harris said, that the other two pools be checked to make sure that they have been winterized properly and so forth. Has that been done?
That's what we're doing now. I've got Cliff on that now.
Okay, that's what Magistrate Harris was asking. Okay, any other questions? If not, have a motion to adjourn. Have a motion and a second. Have a roll call vote, please.